morning students. Today we are going to see the conductance of electrolytic solution in electrochemistry. So the electrical resistance of any object which is directly proportional to its length and inversely proportional to the area of cross section or proportional to L by A. Proportional you have to remove that now by proportionality constant rho here. What is rho? Rho is the resistivity. Rho can be written as RA by L. R is ohm, A is meter square, L is meter. So if you cancel this, we get the unit of ohm meter. Next we are going to define the resistivity. Resistivity of a substance is its resistance when it 1 meter long and area of cross section 1 meter square. That means if in a 1 meter length we have the area meter square, the resistance is called as a resistivity. Therefore, the inverse of resistance is nothing but conductance. So, G is equal to 1 by R. G is equal to 1 by R. That is equal to, we know the R value, no? So, A by rho L. A by rho L. That is rho L by A. 1 by rho L by A can be written like this. So, K is equal to A by L. What is this K? K is the specific conductance. 1 by rho is called as a K. 1 by rho is called as a K, which is a specific resistance. And the SI unit of the resistor conductance is Simon. Simon S. And it's also equal to the ohm inverse or mho, or it is called written by the symbol like this. The inverse of the resistivity called conductivity. Inverse of the resistance is conductance and the inverse of resistivity is called conductivity. It is also called as a specific resistance K, the SI unit of conductivity. The SI unit of conductivity is Simon meter inverse. Simon meter inverse. Simon, that is a unit of resistor conductance, no? So Simon meter inverse, that is mho meter inverse. And mho meter, that is ohm and meter for resistance. Conductivity, ohm inverse, meter inverse. The magnitude of the conductivity depends upon the nature of the material. That is whether it is a conductor, non-conductor or insulators, and depends on the temperature and pressure at which the measurements are made. So the magnitude of conductivity depends on the material and also the temperature and pressure. There are different types of materials. First one is conductors, insulators and semiconductors. What is conductors? Depending on the magnitude. Conductors means which allow the electric current to pass through them. Insulator means not allowed. Semiconductor means between these two, partially allowed. So conductors, metals, example for that one is metals and alloys are the very good conductivity. Example carbon black, graphite and some organic polymers. Insulators, substance like glass, ceramics, etc. having very low conductivity. Substance which have the very low conductivity is called insulators. And semiconductors, substance like silicon, doped silicon and gallium arsenide having the conductivity between the conductor and the insulator. We know that is conductors means which allow the electric current to pass through them. Insulators not allow the electric current to pass through them. Semiconductors means between. Semiconductors means between these. So it is called as a semiconductor. And these are the examples of conductors, insulators and semiconductors. And another one material is called as a superconductor. Certain material which have the zero resistivity or infinite conductivity. Without any resistance, it can able to conduct the electricity means that is known as the superconductors. That is only metals and their alloys. Only metals and their alloys at very low temperature were known to behave as a superconductors. Which can able to behave as a superconductors? Only metals and their alloys can able to act as a superconductors. But nowadays a number of ceramic materials and mixed oxides, are also known to show the superconductivity. Superconductivity means without any resistance. When the metals and the alloys, the temperature should be maintained at 0 to 15 Kelvin, can behave as a superconductors. But nowadays there are number of ceramic materials and mixed oxides are also known to show the superconductivity as temperature as high as possible at 150 Kelvin. Now we are going to see the electrical conductance. Electrical conductance through metals. Electrical conductance is through metals is called as a metallic or electronic conductance, and due to the movement of electron. Electronic means the conductance is due to the movement of electrons, and the electronic conductance depends upon the nature of the structure of the metal, number of valence electrons per atom, Nature and structure, valence electrons, temperature. It decreases with increase of temperatures. That means the conductivity decreases with increase of the temperature. As the electrons enter at one end and go out through the other end, that means there is one length of the wire. Electrons enters this one and comes out through the other end, the composition of the metallic conductor remains unchanged. That means composition of the metallic conductor remains unchanged. The mechanism of conductance through the semiconductors is more complex. The mechanism of the conductance through semiconductors, if we are going to study how this conductance takes place in semiconductor, is very difficult to study. When the electrolytes are dissolved in water, example, electrolyte means we know that is which have a completely tendency to dissociate to give its ions in solution. Example, standard example is NaCl. When electrolytes are dissolved in water, they furnish their own ions in the solution. Yes, if NaCl is a standard electrolyte, it has a tendency to dissociate to give Na plus and Cl minus ions in the solution. Hence, its conductivity also increases. That means number of ions increases means conductivity increases. And the conductance of the electricity by ions present in the solution is called ionic conductance or electrolytic. What is electrolysis? They have one electrolyte which has a tendency to dissociate into ions. The ions movement, due to the movement of the ions, that solution conduct the electricity. That type of conductance is called as electrolytic or ionic conductance. And the next is the conductivity of the electrolytic or ionic conductance depends upon this anionic conductance. That means when NaCl is dissolved in water, which type of conductivity? Ionic conductivity. This ionic conductivity depends upon the nature of the electrolyte. What nature of the electrolyte means whether it has a tendency to be ionized completely or not. And the size of the ions produced and their solvation. Nature of the electrolyte, size of the ions, and nature of the solvent and its viscosity. Nature of the solvent means water which have a tendency to be ionized in solution. The concentration of the electrolyte, temperature. What are the factors? Nature of the electrolyte, size, nature of the solvent, concentration of the electrolyte, and temperature. It increases with increase of temperature. Temperature increases means the conductivity also increases. The passage of direct current through ionic solution over a prolonged period can lead to change in its composition due to electrochemical reaction. That is, passage of the direct current through ionic solution over a prolonged period. That means for a long period. It can lead to the change in its composition due to the electrochemical reaction. That is electrochemical reaction. Next one is measurement of the conductivity of ionic. How we are going to measure that? It is measured using the Wheatstone-Bridge experiment. What is that? Wheatstone-Bridge experiment. That is, for measuring the resistance of the ionic solution, we face two problems. While measuring the resistance of ionic solution, there are two problems. What are they? Passing direct current changes its composition. Direct current, DC, and direct current means which has a tendency to change the composition of the solution. Second one, a solution cannot be connected to the bridge like a metallic wire or other solid conductors. A solution cannot be connected to a bridge like a metallic wire or other solid conductors. That means it is calculated by the Wheatstone bridge. There are two problems while calculating this. DC current has a tendency to change the composition and which cannot be considered as a bridge like a metallic wire. It cannot be connected by the wire or any solid conductor. Now, the first difficulty is resolved by using direct current has a tendency to change the composition. No, that means we can able to change the AC current, alternating current. Instead of direct current, we can change into alternating current for a power. Second problem, it is solved by using a specially designed vessel called conductivity cell. These are the two different types of conductivity cells. What is this? Two platinum electrodes connected through wires. Here also the two platinum electrodes connected by a wires. So these type of conductivity cells can be used to measure the resistance. In a Wheatstone bridge. Basically, it consists of two platinum electrodes. Coated with platinum black. Yes, two platinum electrodes are in each side. No, here. Yes, two platinum electrodes. Finely divided metallic platinum is deposited on the electrodes electrochemically. There I have a area of cross section equal to A. We are using the resistance formula, that is L by A, directly proportional to area of cross section A separated by a distance L. Therefore, a solution confined between the electrodes is a column of length and the area of cross section. So, column of length and the area of cross section. The resistance of such a column of solution is given by the equation R is equal to rho into L by A. We know that formula, no? What is K? K is equal to 1 by rho. That means R is equal to 1 by L by K into A. L by K into A. That is 1 by rho. So, R is equal to 1 by K. There is rho, no? So, upper rho is equal to 1 by K into A. K is called as a kappa. K is called as a kappa. And the next is the quantity L by A. What is this? This is called as a cell constant. L by A is called as a cell constant. It is denoted by the symbol G naught. It is denoted by the symbol G naught. So it depends on the distance between the electrodes and the area of the cross section. Depends on the distance between the electrodes, that is L, and the area of the cross section as the dimension of length inverse. It can be calculated by L and A. What is the cell constant? It is defined by L by A, no? So, the measurement of L and A is not only inconvenient but also reliable. The cell constant is usually determined by using the resistance of the cell conducting a solution whose conductivity is already known. So, the cell constant can be calculated whose conductivity is already known. Whose conductivity is already known, because G is equal to, we did with G naught is equal to L by A, no? So, if the conductivity or resistance is known, means we can able to calculate the cell constant. We can able to calculate the cell constant. For this purpose, we generally use KCl solutions. The electrolyte which has a tendency to be completely ionized in the solution, no? So we are taking KCl solution whose conductivity is already known. Whose conductivity is already known accurately at various concentration and at different temperature. By using various concentration at different temperature, we must know the conductivity of the KCl. That type of solution we have to take. The cell constant G naught is given by G naught equal to L by A. That is equal to R into K. So, G naught is equal to L by A. What is this? L by A is nothing but rate constant, that is cell constant. L by A is equal to R into K. L by A is equal to R into K. We can also determine the G naught as G naught is equal to R into K. Once the cell constant is determined, means we can use it for measuring the resistance and conductivity. Once the cell constant is determined, means we can use it for measuring the resistance and conductivity of the cell. Let's consider this diagram. That is resistance R1, R2, R3 and R4 is there. Instead of R2, we are taking the conductivity cell. Conductivity cell. It is used for the determination of conductivity. P. It is called as a detector. From this deflection only, we can able to find the conductance. We can able to find the conductance. So consider this diagram. Using this, we are going to explain now. It consists of two resistance R3, R4. Yes. And its variable resistance is R1. That is two resistance which is R3 and R4. And the variable resistance is R1. And the conductivity cell having the unknown resistance R2. Conductivity cell have a unknown resistance R2. Variation takes place in R1. We are going to determine the resistance R2. The Wheatstone bridge is fed by an oscillator O. Wheatstone bridge is fed by an oscillator O. A source of AC power in the audio frequency range. A source of AC power in the audio frequency range 550 to 5000 cycles per second. 550 to 5000 cycles per second. And P is a suitable detector. Now in the center we have a P. No, it is a suitable detector. That is a headphone or other electronic device to find out the detection of the conductance. And the bridge is balanced when no current passes through the detector. And the bridge is balanced when no current passes through the detector. Under these conditions, this unknown resistance R2 can be calculated. Unknown resistance R2 can be calculated. That is R2 is equal to R1, R4 by R3. How will you calculate the R2? That is R1, R4 by R3. First we have a two resistance R3 and R4. Variable resistance is R1 and unknown resistance is R2. This R2 only we are going to calculate using the Wheatstone bridge. This is fed by an oscillator. That is here in the last one we have have the oscillator Ono. It is a source which has a tendency to give the frequency of about 550 to 5000 cycles per second, and the center we have a detector that is can be determined by the headphone or other electronic device, and the bridge is balanced when no current is passed through the detector. We are going to find the resistance. That means no current is passed. No, there must not be any deflection in the center. Under these conditions, we can able to find the unknown resistance. R2 is equal to R1 R4 by R3. These days, inexpensive conductivity meters are available. Nowadays, there are many inexpensive conductivity meters are available, which can be directly read the conductance. Directly, we can able to read the conductance or resistance of the solution in the conductivity cell. So nowadays, there are new investment is there. The investments and advanced technical apparatus are introduced now. So now this inexpensive conductivity meters are also available now, which have a tendency to read the directly we can measure the conductance or the resistance. Directly we can able to measure the conductance or the resistance of the solution in the conductivity cell. Once the cell constant and the resistance of the solution in the cell is determined, the conductivity of the solution is given by, that means once you find the length and the area of the cross section, that is cell constant, and also resistance by using the Wheatstone bridge, we can able to determine the conductivity. Once the cell constant and the resistance of the solution is determined, means we can able to determine the conductivity of the solution. What is that? K is equal to cell constant by R. K is equal to cell constant by R. K is equal to nothing but cell constant by R. Cell constant we are determined by a symbol G naught. Cell constant is determined by the symbol G naught. So K is equal to G naught by R. The conductivity of the solutions of different electrolytes in the same solvent. Conductivity of the solution of different electrolytes, NaCl, KNO3, KCl, like the different electrolytes are there in the same solvent. All are dissolved in water. NaCl also dissolved in water, KCl also dissolved in water. If sodium nitrate or any sodium different salts are there, means electrolyte means what is electrolyte? It have a tendency to dissociate completely into ions, and at a given temperature differs due to the charge and the size of the ions. That means the conductivity of solutions of different electrolytes we are dissolving in the same solvent only, but their conductivity we have a tendency to have a different values. Even though you dissolve the same solvent with a different substance of electrolyte. Example, in one beaker we are taking the NaCl, another beaker we are taking the KCl, another beaker sodium nitrate. Different solutions are taking, but all these are dissolved in water only, and the temperature is also constant. Even though we are using the same solvent and the temperature, the conductivity of the electrolytes differ. Why? Due to the charge and the size of the ions. Na plus is very small when compared to K plus ions, no? So, differ in their size and the charge in which they dissociates. The concentration of the ions is with which the ions are more under a potential gradient. So, the concentration due to the charge and the size of the ions in which they dissociates. The concentration of the ions or is with which the ions are move under a potential gradient. What is that? Even though if you dissolve different substance in the same solvent and the temperature is also maintained at the same condition, means even though all these are same, they may have a different conductivity. Now why it is like that? It is therefore becomes necessary to define the physically more meaningful quantity called molar conductivity. So from this we are going to determine the molar conductivity. Molar conductivity means the conductance of the solutions in 1 mole. That is 1 mole of the electrolyte dissolved in a solution. The conductivity of the solution containing 1 mole of the substance electrolyte. That is nothing but what is molar conductivity? That is conductance of 1 mole of the, so 1 mole of the electrolyte, 1 mole of the concentration of 1 mole of the electrolyte dissolved in a solution is called as a molar conductivity. 1 mole. So molar conductivity is represented by the symbol this one, lambda. equal to K by C. K we know, Simon meter inverse no. Concentration C is mole per meter cube. Mole per decimeter cube or mole per meter cube. This is meter, so it is represented in meter. So delta M is equal to Simon meter square mole inverse. It is noted that 1 mole per meter is equal to 1000 liter by meter cube into molarity. This is one formula. So we can substitute this instead of C here. So 1000 into molarity. If you use the S centimeter inverse as units for K, C can be written as mole per centimeter cube. If instead of meter, we are using the centimeter. So lambda M can be written as Simon meter square mole inverse. Simon meter centimeter square mole inverse. So delta M is equal to K into 1000 by molarity. K by this one, no? So K into 1000 by molarity. So we can relate at both these by using two different formula. That is 1 Simon meter square mole inverse is equal to 10 power 4 Simon meter square mole inverse. Simon meter square mole inverse is equal to 10 power minus 4 Simon meter. Meter to centimeter means 10 power 4. Centimeter to meter means 10 power minus 4 mole inverse. So these are the derivations. Next class we are going to see the problem related this.